We're going live. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the live stream. It's a little bit later than what I was hoping for, but we can kind of talk about that. But yeah, today is Saturday night, and I thought, you know what, let's do a live stream. So I came out here in the garage, and we're gonna do a live stream. I'm gonna give it a few minutes here before we get going to allow some people to join in. Let's see here. Make sure I'm on the live chat to make sure that I can see what you guys are saying. But it's cold out here. I haven't been running that diesel heater because I keep forgetting to get diesel. So I got the little buddy heater going here, and it'll heat up in here. So I know that some people will say you got to turn it sideways. I was able to do it one time, but now I can't quite figure out how to get it to go horizontal on me. So there we go. People are starting to come in. So welcome everyone. I thought, when did you install a garage door on the 10th? That's kind of funny. I thought we could do a live stream. It's been, how many weeks has it been? Probably about 5 or 6 weeks since we did a live stream. My wife's on there. Hi, Sam. Yeah, so you guys can ask questions. I can answer them. I'll just start here with Harry. Harry Thompson says, what's today's project? I had a few projects today. So last week, I finally had enough, or my wife and I both finally had enough of our clothes washing machine. See, the thing is, the last house and this house both had a front load washing machine, and I don't really know why people love those front loading washing machines. I think they're absolute garbage. And so we finally got rid of it because it was out of balance and it had developed a little bit of a leak. And how they kind of work is it's like a pill capsule. So they're mounted together in the center like this, and it was leaking from that center seam. So to put the new gasket in there, you have to take it apart anyways, and oh, they're junk. So we went to Menards, and it just so happened that Menards had their 11% off and then an additional $50 off any appliance. So we got a Whirlpool one, and it was what was it? $4.99 or $5.99? I think it was $4.99 after all those little discounts. And then no, it was $5.99. And then I still have to do the 11% on top of that. So I'm gonna get we bought some other stuff too, but I'm gonna get like $70 back. And yeah, so I installed that last week, but I made a big mess because in the meantime I broke apart that big double basin concrete sink, and I made a big mess down there. I'm making a video about it, so whatever. But I was working on that today, just getting stuff brought out and thrown into the trailer so I can get rid of it. And then our furnace decided it wanted to be a little bit finicky. It's actually been a little bit finicky for a couple months now. I've just kind of ignored it. And it's a relatively new furnace. I think they put it in 2018 or 2021. I can't remember. I think the roof was 18 and the furnace and water heater was 21. And it just got a little dusty on that sensor. And so the flame would kick on and then it would kick it off right away. So I was just messing with that, and I finally came out here. So that's why I'm a little bit late. But yeah, the thing about that front load though, to get it out from downstairs, they're so heavy because they have these big counterweights inside of them. So to get them out, you have to rip it all apart and take it out in pieces. And when I ripped it apart, I took that little capsule apart, and inside of there, all mold inside of there because they just don't use enough water. They're efficient, but then they can't flush anything out. And we were running bleach through it like once a week. We were putting vinegar in there once or twice a week. Those things are just mold machines, and I absolutely hate them. So if you ever get a washer or a dryer specifically a washing machine, get a top load. They are superior in every way. Um, let's see. Roger says, "Hi Zach, are you working outside of the house now, or is your house a priority yet?" Yeah, we've been doing some stuff inside the house. It's still cold. We just got. I measured the one day Tuesday. We got 10 inches of snow, and then I think we maybe got a foot worth of snow this week because we got a couple more dusting since. So outside projects, it's cold. We're still waiting. It's still snowing here, so we'll get to them eventually, but they should be coming soon. Bill 4485 says, "How to adjust a carb with a single screw?" Really depends on the carb. A lot of times, like snow blowers or even like push mowers, they'll have like the bowl on the bottom of the carb will have a spring and then like a little screw on there, and that's an adjuster. I have that on the one snow blower, but otherwise they might have a high and a low on them. So you just kind of have to, I guess you want to cross-reference it or try to find a video of what you're working on, because it's hard for me to give advice without really seeing what you're working on. Let's see. I didn't see what Steven said. Oh, Steven says, "I'm an appliance service technician and should have bought a Speed Queen. It's a 20 to 25 year machine. It comes with a good warranty." I haven't seen that brand around here. I'm sure maybe it's a high-end brand that they don't really sell at the, Menards or Lowe's or Home Depots. I didn't see that brand, but yeah, when we bought the St. Cloud house, it didn't have a washer or a dryer, our first house. So the first thing we did is we went and got a washer and a dryer. Amana brand, which I like Amana brand. I was going to get an Amana, but then they had that little 50% off rebate, so I got a Whirlpool for essentially like the same price. And yeah, at the St. Cloud house, we never had any issues. And then last house, I had to replace it. This house, I have to replace it. And I did see the sticker on it today. The one I replaced was from 2010. So 13-year run. That's pretty good for any appliance, I guess. But and I could have fixed it, but it's like those front loads, they just stink. You have to leave the door open on them all the time. They still stink. They got that rubber grommet, and you have to scrub behind the grommet all the time, and they get clogged. And if you have like Kenna will shed, and then the hair gets in there and it clogs the little drain holes, and it's just I just think they're junk. Justin, big fan. That's awesome. I have a few different pairs of glasses, but I get all my glasses online at Zenni, Zenni. It's an online glasses thing that's cheap. And I kind of like that because then if you break them, you're not out like $200. I think these lenses and glasses were like $22 or something like that. So I like getting them on there. What brand is the tent? I'm not sure the brand of the tent. It's a canvas wall tent. I don't know. I guess it's been a long time, and I don't know if I really ever knew what it was. I mean, it's just a canvas wall tent, but that'd be a question I guess you'd have to ask my dad. Happy birthday, Kevin. Hope you had a nice birthday, and I bet the weather in New Mexico is probably a little bit better than the cold garage that I'm sitting in right now. Happy birthday. Let's see. Dell in Corinda says he never explained it, LOL. I don't know if that's to the tent or what it would be. Do you grouse hunt in your new area? Yeah. I did go grouse hunting. I seen a lot of grouse. Most of the time when I seen them, though, I wasn't actively hunting. But when I did that, like survival tip or whatever it was that I went out and did, where I made a fire from the magnesium flint, I got an opportunity for 3 grouse that day, and it was my own fault. I only put like one shell in, and I shot the one, and the other one was right next to it, and then I didn't have any more shells. So by the time I walked back to the vehicle, got another shell, it was too late. Do you use that Chinese diesel heater you showed us anymore? I would, but I was actually going to get some diesel on Wednesday, and I just didn't bring the can. So I just need to get some diesel for it. Honestly, that thing works sweet. But next year, I am going to be upgrading. I don't think I mentioned this, but that right there is a 62,000 BTU natural gas furnace that's going to be going in here. And I helped Dad put on that steel roof on his front garage, and then as like a payment, he was nice enough to give me that. And then I also have to give him a hand with some work on the guest house, I believe, which he hasn't called me for yet, but maybe he will one of these days. But anyways, that was kind of the deal for that. And I got that. I think it snowed like a few days later after that, or it got cold, and I want to run the line underground, and so I didn't get the opportunity to run the natural gas line out. There is a copper line that comes all the way out here that goes down into the basement, and I guess I could. Can you run natural gas through copper? I don't know if you can run natural gas through copper, or if it's always just black steel pipe. That'd be a good question for you guys. But regardless, I'm gonna run a new line, dig it underground, put it in a like a PVC pipe or whatever, do it all legit and get it in here. And that way, at 62,000 BTUs, it'll heat it up here in like, I imagine, less than 10 minutes. It should be very fast because that's a pretty big oversize for sure. Speed Queen is only sold at local appliance stores. I wonder if that's a brand that they use in like laundromats and stuff. I don't know what they use in laundromats. Copper's fine. Yeah, I wish I would have got some diesel. I was going to the other day because it was snowing this week, and I thought, oh, it'd be nice to park in the garage, have everything melt, but yeah. What else we got? JT says, how's the new job going? It's going good. I don't know if too many people know that. No, I don't think I've done a live stream or a video explaining that but I did get a new job, and it's going really nice. Totally different change of pace for sure. Completely different field, not manufacturing or anything like that. But I have never worked with such a wonderful group of people, and the management is really fantastic. And it's weird. It's really actually weird for me in that sense, because where I was before, it was like, I don't know. I guess you would say it was toxic in that way. Management was just a bunch of creeps, and they just like wanted a conflict every single day, and it was really draining. And going to this, I've been here now for a month, 4 weeks, and everybody's so nice. Everybody. So I just can't believe it. I mean, maybe people are used to that, but for most of my working career here, it's been garbage. So this place is really nice, and it's a good learning opportunity for sure. Let's see. What year is your Lund boat? I think it's a 64. I believe it's a 64 Lund. I'm pretty sure. Good boat. I can't wait to take it out next year. Sounds like you did not get the bandit squirrel. Man, there's a lot of squirrels up there. Who said that? BWC. There's a lot of squirrels up there. Every few years it's squirrel time. And when I went up there for that winter trip that I snowshoed across the lake, I heard that bugger up there, and I didn't ever see it. It just woke me up, I think, in the morning, and then when I first got there, I heard it. But it's a smart one, because it knows when you're around, and then it doesn't come around. So it'll find its maker, I'm sure. Thanks, Sue. Mr. Karutu, I probably butchered that, but is the deer population really depleted by the tent? Uh, yeah, since the DNR introduced wolves into the area, it's kind of changed the population quite a bit. That with I think the last few years have been pretty hard winters, which really doesn't help the situation either. And I'm sure. I mean, this year I don't know if this winter has been hard or not up there. It's been cold, but I think snow wise it's been all right. And yeah, I mean, technically, eventually the cycle should return. Um, Maybe in the future there'll be some sort of a wolf season, hunting season or something. I don't know, but they're around. They're just not as around as they once were. Um, but I've met a lot of people, and they'll hunt wherever, and they'll get like 3 deer. It'll be, I don't remember what the term is, but they're allowed 3 deer, and they go and they get like 3 deer in 2 days, and that's fantastic. But I think if I got a deer now, it would sure mean a lot more to me than somebody that gets such great opportunities. But it's more than just like going out and getting deer. It's just a lot. It's like duck hunting. It's a lot more like hanging out with everybody, talking to everybody, stories with people. I mean, it's more than just hunting, but it would be nice to see some meat at some point. I could probably go and find some like meat market that sold venison. I could probably buy a whole deer worth of venison by all the license costs that I've had over 10 years, 11 years. Um, yeah. Let's see. Did your dad ever get that Quest house done from Billy Rash? um, if you follow the Facebook page, you might see more updates on that if you're on Facebook. But he's still working on it, but I think he's getting there. Um, a project like that is a serious undertaking. So he's made really good progress, I think. For just, I think most of it's just him. I'm sure Melissa helps him. Uh, but I mean, that's a lot. If you think of building a house, that is a lot of work for one person. Um, and like I said, I think Melissa gives him help and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a lot of mudding and taping and figuring, and it's a lot of work. So I think it's coming along pretty good though. Let's see. Alex is very cool you are doing this. I'm about the same age as you, and I'm scared to death to put myself in the public view like you have been doing. Yeah, I mean, there's very rare occasions where people will come up to me and recognize me. We were at some arcade. It was an arcade and a bowling alley place a few weeks ago, and I was with my wife and her sister and her husband and their family, and we were eating, and then they all got up and they were going, and I was just kind of waiting to sign the bill or whatever it was, and the person in the booth that was like on the other side of the thing, the guy hops up and he's like, "Oh, I didn't want to bother you in front of your family, but I'm a fan," and shook my hand. And where did he say he lived? North or South Dakota? I think he said North Dakota, and they were passing through or something like that. And I wish I could remember his name now, but anyways, it's very rare, but I do love meeting people. As long as they're good people. I guess there's probably some creeps out there, but for the most part, anyone that's ever came up to me and said hi has been very friendly, and I enjoy saying hi and meeting people and just learning. I mean, it's crazy to think that, even though it's North Dakota, it's just one state over, but it's like, that's really weird to think that, like, oh, I watched that person's videos. I know who they are. Like, that's fantastic. And it's really cool. And I've never had that happen to me. I watch a lot of YouTube people, but I've never seen one in public. And I would probably do the same thing. Go up, shake their hand, say hi. If you see me in public, come up and say hi. Um, I will definitely, chat with you and try to learn more about you and everything. I think that's fantastic. So, uh, yeah, for the most part, it's been just fine. Uh, do you do small engine repair for a living or a side job? I did it on the side, and then I did it a little more seriously when I was off, and then now I haven't had any projects. I was actually going to ask Dad if he had some projects, because now that I'm working again, it's um, I can't really like take half a day and go fishing or whatever most of the time. So I do need to get some small engine projects going. I do like those. So I mean, today I guess the other thing I was bringing up all that concrete from that sink downstairs and all that junk, and it got warm here last week, and so I was going to use the four-wheeler because the trailer was frozen into the ground because it got warm, and there's about this much ice that the trailer was all frozen into, and I don't want to deal with that, so I was going to start up the four-wheeler and just haul stuff over there where it was parked. Four-wheeler didn't want to start. So then I had to chip out the trailer, hook it up, bring the trailer up here so I could get the four-wheeler off and deal with that. And it was, the four-wheeler was running kind of rough when I took it out ice fishing. It was misfiring and firing about every other time. And the spark plug on it was all, it wasn't really gunky. It was just flooded out to the point where that spark plug didn't want to work anymore. So I had to take it and burn the spark plug off. And ever since I bought the thing, though, I know that the ignition on it, the spark plug boot, if you will, is wrong. It's the wrong one. You could tell because it hits on the exhaust and has that little antenna top on it. And so I went on eBay. Not even eBay. I just typed it into Google, and eBay popped up $10 new ignition coil, and I bought that. So that'll be here, and hopefully fix my problem, because I think that thing just has a weak ignition coil on it, because sometimes it runs fantastic and other times it doesn't, and it always seems to be spark related. So that was the other debacle. I'm just trying to haul stuff out of the basement with 5-gallon buckets, and the four-wheeler won't run, and the trailer is frozen in, and it's cold out here, and just dealing with that type of stuff. Let's see. Billy Rash, I must have missed it. Oh, yeah. If you want more stuff like with my dad and his guest house and stuff like that, he does all that on Northern Seclusion channel. So the Facebook page and Northern Seclusion will give you more insight on the guest house for sure, and more of his daily stuff that he does. I guess I don't know if that would be considered really a vlog, but it's definitely more like his day-to-day routines and things like that. So let's see. DNR ruins everything, I guess. I don't know. Why don't you or your dad hunt on his farm? I think it's just kind of that thing like we were talking about, I mean, if he wanted to, he could just walk out his back door and probably get one, but that's not the build up to it, right? Like, we put a lot of work in up there, and if you get one, that's fantastic. If you don't, it's not a big deal. It's never really been a competition or anything between any of us when it comes down to that kind of stuff. So there's just so much more to the hunting, right? There's just so much more to it than a lot of people think, and no offense. I guess I don't mean to like put anybody down on that. You are there to get a deer, I guess, but it just wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't be the same. Let's see. Hi, Larry. Everything's going good. I do need to do a camping video. Let's see. How's my grandpa doing? I think he's doing real. I'm thinking stuttering. I think he's doing well. I guess I haven't seen him in a little while. Probably. When did I? I guess I don't know. I think the last time I seen him might have been the last weekend of deer hunting. And then when I was at Dad's the one day, Grandpa was coming up, and I drove right past him. I seen his truck. I thought, gosh, that looks like Grandpa. I should go back, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to like turn around and go all the way back just to find out. But I just missed him on that day, and then I think we are gonna have some sort of a party thing coming up in the spring or the summer or something. So I guess I'll see him then or whenever. Let's see. But Northwood says, great to see you, Zach. Top 3 projects for this year, Steve and Ramsey. Hi, Steve. Ramsey, geez, our old stomping grounds. Top 3 projects. I'll give projects. I don't know if they're obtainable because it's a lot. But what I would like to do, oh man, there's so much stuff I'd like to do this summer. Big thing for me, like outside project, would be to re-side the house. But that's a pretty big undertaking. And I don't know if that's not necessarily priority. The priority one that I'd like to do is get the new kitchen put in. But we're looking at the layout of the house, and the stairs, when you walk in there, the stairs are in front of you. We want to put the stairs over here. So when you walk in, it's to the right of you, and then cut out in between the living room and the kitchen and reframe the one wall. It's a whole thing. So the reason why is because the kitchen isn't huge, but if we do that, we could do it without moving the stairs. But if we move the stairs, the kitchen won't just be an L. Well, we're going to make it into a U, adding one whole wall of countertop and cabinets, which would be fantastic. And then right now, if we did it, there would be like enough, you could easily walk in there. But if we move the stairs, then it's wide open right there, and I'll make it a U, and then it'll have a little, like, not an island, but it'll have like a jut out like you'd have like an island. And there's a whole thing that we talked about, and I talked it over with Dad, and it's a process. You got to cut out the basement floor and put a footing in to brace up the floor joists and yada yada. And it's not overly complicated. It's going to take some work, and then it all has to kind of get done at once. You have to kind of reframe the house, and then we'll have to refloor the house, which upstairs is fine. I'm not totally pleased with the with the flooring that's put in there. It was put in there by professionals because when we were buying this house, they were in the process of remodeling it, and I said, look, I want the flooring done by professionals. I want all of it done by professionals because I'm super particular on those little details. Well, the professionals that they used were absolute garbage, to the point where it was all signed on paperwork, so I could probably go back and like fight it, and they'd have to come in and probably redo just about all of it. I mean, we had negotiated new light fixtures, the whole brand new bathroom. It was all supposed to be painted. Also, all new crown molding and baseboard. What else? I mean, it was pretty much refreshed. And when we showed up, the baseboard was not complete. The brand new light fixtures, they're they were broken. The fan in the living room was missing the whole glass globe that goes on it. The bathroom was not painted. The plumbing that the professionals did, the plumbing leaked water on both the new shower and the toilet, so I had to fix all that. The flooring is still not right. It's not lined up right. It wasn't done right. I don't like it. But rather than dwell on it, we're going to move on from it. We're just going to do it ourselves. Because why have the same garbage company come do it twice? Yeah. What was the other thing that happened with me once? I had something else happen like this to me once, and it was like, yeah, I could fight this and spend all this resources doing it, or I could just be like, and move on from it. And that's the way you got to look at it in life, is like, okay, this is ridiculous, but if you truly want something done, you're going to have to do it yourself if you want it done right, to your liking, right? So anyways, where were we? So I want to redo the flooring anyways. And so, you'd have to frame in the hole where the stairs were, refloor everything, the whole upstairs, because I don't want carpet anymore. I just want those laminate planks or laminate flooring, whatever, hardwood, whatever would work at the time, and do all that all at once. That's where that gets pretty expensive. What else? So yeah, so the kitchen I'd like first, with all that included, the siding, and then I would like to redo the deck and make it wrap around the whole front of the house again, because I think that would look really pretty. But all that takes time and all that takes money, so we'll see what we can get to. It'll probably be a pretty slow process. Let's see. Steven says you need to go help him with his new chainsaw. Yeah, I was watching that video, and I was listening to that video because I was driving home one day. I just had the audio going, and I didn't quite catch what was going on with it. It sounds like the decompression. Normally they have a little decompression button, and it sounds like it's not decompressing on him so that he can pull it hard enough or something. I couldn't quite catch it. Queen Bee says, how is where's my water? How is the basement coming along? Well, I was just telling everyone, got a new washing machine, and then while I was at it, I got a new laundry sink, because the one that was down there was that big concrete double sink, and it took up like, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet. The thing was massive, so I had to break it apart with a sledgehammer, that big sink, and I was just carrying that out. And then the washer and the dryer were like on opposite sides of the laundry room, so you'd wash your clothes and then have to walk them like all the way across the room to the dryer, which I thought was really weird. So with that sink gone, I was able to put the washer next to the dryer and then the utility sink next to that. And so now the flow is right. And I just kind of was picking up that mess today. And then now we're moving around like the chest freezer, and we're going to move the, like we have shelves down there with food on it and stuff. It's like our little pantry down there. Got to move all that around and reorganize it so I think it'll flow better. And so that's how the basement's coming. I'm still waiting for some sort of a deal on some baseboard down there. But yeah, I should probably look into baseboard. I haven't really thought about that. I got the saw sitting down there still. Should probably finish that. Let's see. Have you been working her at all? I don't really know what that means. Let's see. Rhonda. Who is Rhonda? Oh, do you and your wife plan on having any more kids? Yeah, I don't know if I'll answer that. Why don't you have heat? Why don't you have the heat going in the garage? I can see you breathing. Well, everybody breathes, but I got my buddy heater going. Actually, the buddy heater makes a person's breath more because it puts moisture into the air, and I think it has something else to do with probably the dew point. But I got that going. I should probably stand a little closer to it so I can actually feel it. But I haven't picked up any diesel for my diesel heater. Like I said, I was going to in the middle of this last week, but I didn't. I forgot to bring the jug. So, um, yeah. I don't know. It's cold. It's Minnesota. It's fine. Rodney, yeah, I always do my own duck camp. Like I was saying, with deer hunting and duck hunting, deer hunting it's a little harder because they're all in the same little tent. But with duck hunting, I think it's kind of unique. There's Dad's video and his perspectives, and then there's my video and my perspectives. And like Grandpa and I, we've kind of been camping together now. I say we're camping buddies, and so every year it's like, oh, next year we should do this. So every year it kind of gets a little different. But I really like where Grandpa and I camp. It's really flat, and like last year we had the campfire on the roadside, and then this year I put the campfire on the backside away from the road. So we're kind of like secluded, if you will. And it always rains at duck camp, and that area there it's open. There's less trees, and so when it rains in that area, it's nice because then it dries out quicker, and it's not as like muddy. It's like a gravel base, whatever. So, anyways, yeah, I always like to make a duck camp video of my own because otherwise, I don't know how much you guys would really see what I'm doing or what's going on my side because there's a lot of camping tasks, duties that go on. Got to get the firewood and chop the firewood and whatever. But I think Grandpa loves it. We got it. I kind of try to listen and see what he likes. So I know we have that triangle cooker thing. The tripod with the round grate. He loves that because what did he? I think he likes reading Western books, and he's kind of like a Western theme, whatever. And that's like he just loves that. So I always bring that. I don't bring the other grate that goes over it. We bring that one, and it stays over the fire. And it's always ready. And I brought coffee this year, like actual coffee, and he was liking the coffee. And yeah, I just we're just camping buddies. And I tried to pay attention to what he likes so that every year it gets better and better because there was a long span in there where it's like Dad had his camp, I had my camp, Grandpa had his camp, and then Chris and Teresa had their camp, and then finally like Grandpa and I merged together, and I think it makes the experience less lonely and just a better time. It gives you something to look forward to. So yeah. Oh, what's going on? Let's see. BLR, nice to see you on. I hope you and your dad are doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. Let's see. Man, I don't know. Rhonda, what is this? Rhonda is getting in trouble. How's the job? Job is good. Derek says, your pup, have you been working her at all for duck hunting? Not real. I mean, she's picked up on her basic commands, sit and whatever. She's very smart and very sweet, which is it's really nice. I think having her around like Rose and like the family really helps with that. And she's very sweet, very good listener. And last fall when we got her, I did the whole like throwing it and she would run, and she's not the smartest when it comes down to that stuff, but she's a good dog. All dogs are different, and I just don't know if Kenna has a whole lot of the retriever in her. She's a purebred, whatever, but I don't know if that's there's bloodlines and yada yada. And I don't really know much of her bloodline, if that makes sense, but she's a good dog. But bringing a dog to duck camp, it's kind of a chore. You got to watch after them. If the rice is really tall, there you run the risk of them getting stuck in it. They could get hung up in it and die. Like it can actually be kind of scary. So I don't know if I'll bring her duck hunting much. I brought her grouse hunting. I'll probably do a lot of that, or if I find little ponds and stuff, I can bring her pond jumping or whatever. But it can be kind of dangerous up there. Chester, well, the last year I ever took him up there, he was kind of blind, and he was deaf and old, and he jumped. The rice was really tall. I can hear him out there, and I'm calling for him, but he can't hear me. And when a dog's in the water, they can't see much more than a couple inches, and the rice was like 3 feet tall. So I had to go, and I found him way down there. He actually swam all the way down to the next person that was hunting, but and he was so tired. He had his feet up like this. He was probably so close to drowning, but they can swim faster than I can canoe a boat, so it took me a long time to get there. And so that was kind of my lesson there. I was like, okay, well, maybe we don't, or you put a life jacket on them or something, so if they get so tired, they'll at least float. But it's kind of dangerous in the rice like that. So I don't know if I'll take her up there or not. What do you have powering the diesel heater? Okay, we can talk about that. Since I'm getting a lot of diesel heater hate. If you're just tuning in, I do have my buddy heater going on high, guys. It's cold. Anyways, so you go on the Amazon and you get this converter here, and it's what would this be? The AC to DC converter, right? Right, because out of the wall is alternating current, and the battery is technically direct current. It was like $20. They had 2 different amperages. I think this is the lesser amperages, lesser size. And then I just wired it. And so it can plug into the wall. It thinks it's getting 12 volts. It's not. It's getting more, but it's step down or whatever. So, yeah. John says, how come you don't like spiders and snakes? Be careful out camping. Well, in Minnesota, we typically don't have venomous spiders or snakes. We have some pretty big spiders, as I seen this past summer. But, creepy crawlies, I don't know why you'd like them. I mean, spiders have their point in the food chain. They eat bugs and whatever. But I mean, do I want a spider crawling on me? No. Do I want a snake slithering on me? No. But luckily in Minnesota, there really isn't any, knock on wood, because it only takes one, but there isn't much opportunity for stuff like that to really do much harm to us. And yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big fan. Those people that'll hold like tarantulas or whatever. That's not me. They can stay wherever they're going to be going. The Argo is way up north. My dad still has that. FFG, how's it going? Everything is going good. You haven't had any snow yet? Let's see. What's up, Aaron? Aaron and Nix. Let's see. Let's see. Tim, you need heat. Yeah, I do. Need a moderator? You need to have a monitor. Yeah, I don't know. Crank the heat. Well, next year the heat will be going. Oh, that could be the third thing I want to do. So the third thing I want to do is I want to go up in the attic in the house and blow some insulation up in there. Because right now there's like 5 inches of the one style, and then there's a roll of batting throughout. And I feel like it's not enough because we are in the northern zone, so there should be R60 or R49 up there. And there's not. I think it's probably R20 something, 27, R29. needs to be more up there. And then while I'm at it, I'm gonna get a couple bales for the garage. There's probably, I don't know, probably 2 layers of batting in the top of this garage here, but um, obviously the more the better. So if I'm already gonna have that blower thing, I'm just gonna spend the extra couple $100 and blow some insulation up here too. So that's kind of, I guess, on the list. Definitely before next winter. I want the house to just be as warm as possible. Oh, Greg and Timmy. Hey guys. Didn't see you on here, Greg. I hope you're doing good. Haven't seen you in a while. Uh, let's see. How far do you think you're from North Carolina? North Carolina? I don't know. A long ways. All right. So what other questions do we got going on here? Yeah, I'd like to do some more ice fishing. I actually really need to do my winter camp, but it's kind of been cold, and I don't really. So I want to go there so I can cut down the widowmaker that's just been like haunting me at that campsite there, and at fish camp. And the thing is, it's such a long walk. And I was thinking, okay, what do I need? I'm like, well, I could bring the hammock and a bunch of blankets and whatever. But I worry that, even if I have an underquilt and overquilt and everything else, I worry that I'll get cold, right? And it's really not a spot that I want to get cold, because to walk out of there is going to take me, oh, like, let's just say it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm cold and I need to pack everything up and get out of there. You're talking like a 2 hour ordeal to pack everything up and just start sludging all the way back across. So I was like, I should bring my ice fishing tent and set that up. And then I started thinking, okay, so I'm going to bring my hub shelter. I want a heater in there, preferably. So I'm going to have the buddy heater and a 20-pounder. Otherwise, I'll run out of gas and stuff. And then I'm going to want a cot and all the blankets. And when I started adding everything up, it was like, I'm going to have a heart attack trying to carry all this stuff across the lake. It's just a hard pull. It's a long ways. So now I'm kind of at a crossroads where it's like, maybe a person. Yeah, you take care too, Greg. Maybe I just wait until spring and take care of it first thing in the spring, because I can't think of a way to do it lightly. I mean, you're gonna have the chainsaw and the chainsaw gas. I'm gonna have to bring an axe so I can split the wood. You start adding all this up, it's like I'm gonna be lugging, 100 pounds worth of gear, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's a long ways. And that's like, it's a lot. So I don't know. I thought maybe I'll just do it light. I'll just go out there for the day, cut down the tree and split it and whatever. But then all the snow that's fallen, I'm going to have to dig all the way down to put my hub up, right? Or to even get down, because if you start a fire on the top of the snow, it's going to burn its way down. So you kind of have to clear it all out. And it's like, wow, that's a full day of just setting up camp, and it's a lot of hard work. So I want to go out and do that camp, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it. It just sounds like too much. So I guess if I had a snowmobile, it would be different, but the snowmobile can be an issue too, because things can get slushy, and things have been slushy this year, and that's a whole nother deal. You're halfway across and you fall in a slush hole, and I did that this year on the four-wheeler. I fell in a slush hole, and that sucked. It took me a long time to get that four-wheeler out. Really tiring, and yeah. So a snowmobile, I feel like, would be even harder. So they're not as maneuverable. Let's see. I haven't really thought about trapping. I don't know if I could get into it. It seems like I don't know. It doesn't seem like my thing, I guess. I don't know what I would trap for or why I would trap for it. You know, maybe for like a mounting showpiece or something, but I don't really need anything like that. So, yeah. Tom says, "Hey Zach, loving the channel and all your videos that you and your father put out to entertain us. Just wondering if you plan on visiting Canada anytime soon. I live in Nova Scotia, and I think you and Sam and the family would absolutely love visiting here. The scenery and wildlife are a visitor's paradise. I would love to visit Canada. I'm sure my wife would say the same. Um, there was a YouTuber. His name is Cosmo Weems, and he recently passed. But he did this really. I think he lived in New Jersey or New Hampshire. And he did a. I don't know if he did the circle tour or what he did, but he came up through Minnesota and then went on to Canada, and he stayed at the what do they call that, Providence Land or something like that. And he has this little teardrop trailer. It's really nice. And man, yeah, the scenery in that video was beautiful. And yeah, I would love to visit Canada someday. Maybe store some gear at the tent at the end of the deer season that you may need to winter camp there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I could probably store stuff there and it wouldn't get messed with, but I mean, you guys can understand. That's like for me to do it. Like I'm gonna be editing up a video of when I stayed out on a lake, and for me to bring all the gear for that, it took me 2 trips. So I could skin it down a little bit. I wouldn't have the ice auger or the fishing bag or whatever, but I'm still thinking it could be 2 trips. And that's, if it takes me an hour to walk, you're talking like hours worth of walking time. An hour out, an hour back, an hour out. Like I said, it'd take a whole day. So logistically, it's like I need 4 days or something like that, right? It's just a lot of work. It's like, I don't know if I really have time for that anymore. Yeah. Rick says, the more you procrastinate, the less you get done. Good job, Rick. People. Hair looks better. Yeah, I went to a barber and he fixed me up. Told him the story. He's like, yeah, I think I can fix your hair. And he did a good job, so. Have you ever had any close encounters with bears while you're at the tent over the years? No. Bears are just typically more afraid of you than you are of them. They're curious more than anything. And, feel pretty safe at the tent. When I'm out camping in the woods or whatever, I normally have my protection with me. And it's not like I'm not really afraid of animals like that much. I mean, this summer that guy came by and he was like, I'd watch out for the bears. And, it's hard to explain it in a video because you can't really give people too much information because then they'll know too much, right? But geographically where I was at, it was like the road was there. I was just off the road. And then on the other side of the road, it's all river and lake the whole way. Okay? So the bear is either going to be traveling on the road or right through where I was hanging out there because I was right by kind of like an old logged out area where it would be easier for the bear to walk, right? And the dude had told me, okay, the bear's here and it's traveling to here quite commonly. People are seeing it. And so I thought, I'm cooking a lot of food here, and I just spilled it all over the ground on accident. Buttery potatoes, which I think to a bear would sound pretty good. So it was like, I've done what I needed to do with this video. I got here, we went fishing, we did all this stuff. At this point in the video, I'm going to be wrapping it up, if you will. It's kind of like, we're going to go to bed, we're going to wake up, we're going to break down camp, we're going to go home. And so it was like, well, I could just break camp and go home. And it was just the if you guys are there, the feeling was that like looking over your shoulder all day feeling. Plus, leading up to it, it was like I had my backpack on with all my gear, and I'm trying to get out of the house, and it snagged twice on the door handle. And then I was walking down the deck stairs, and it snagged on the deck railing. And then what was it? I went to get in the van, and my shirt snagged on the van, and I sat in the van finally. I thought, wow. I said it out loud. I said, wow. It's almost like I'm not supposed to be going out because everything was just like trying to hold me back. And so all of that leading up to the culmination of like, hey, buddy, there's a bear out here. I'd be careful. I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm done. I'm going home. So I don't typically worry about it, but there's a lot of skepticism on that person that came by. People were saying, well, he's probably just hunting and wants you out of his hunting area. And it was like, there's no hunting season right now. It's not bear hunting season. It's not turkey hunting season. It's not anything. And like I said, I'm like 50, 100 feet off the road. I'm not in any sort of hunting area. And so I'm like, no, this was just a genuine person that lives back there and sees me camping and knows that this same geography of like the bear can only travel on one path and you're kind of on it. But whatever it might be, I take it serious, right? Because if I live back there and I seen a bear and I see this person camping, I'd probably stop and say, hey, there's a bear coming. And, why would you risk it at that point, right? Marsha says, Cosmo lived to the fullest. Miss his videos. Been watching your videos since you were just a fascinating kid. All the best to you. Thank you, Marsha. Yeah, I found Cosmo, I don't know, I ran across his videos a few years ago, and it was like, I just really liked what Cosmo did, because I've said it before, but everyone thinks if you are going to step foot on a dirt road or drive onto a dirt road, you need like a 4x4 pickup truck with lockers and a 6-inch lift kit. And there's like that whole skepticism. But when I'm out on these roads, you know what vehicles I see a lot of? I see a lot of Priuses. I see a lot of Subarus, which are all-wheel drive, whatever. But I see a lot of normal people driving on these roads, and so I like that Cosmo was like that. He was very like, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna do stuff. And he had his Subaru and his trailer, and he got out there and he did stuff. And I don't know, it was really down to earth. That whole theory of like you don't. I get a lot of flack for taking the van and doing camping or the car or whatever. People are, that's just what they've been brought up to believe. And it's like, you can get really out there with a car, and if I had what's a good off-road, if I had a Jeep with lockers and all the stuff, I don't know if I'd want to get any further out, because you run the risk of getting broken down, snapping an axle, or a U-joint or something, and then you're really screwed, So there's a comfortable boundary that most people play in, and you don't need a lot of specialty equipment to get out there and do that. So that's what I liked about him, was just his mentality of like, this is my gear. He was, what did he say? He was glamping, right? He had his solar panels, and he'd bring his laptop and batteries. And it's like, that's what I like, right? Make it fun. If you wanted to camp out of a backpack with a rain poncho and one match, do the old Survivoran tactic, yeah, you can do that too. But I like to try things and have gizmos and gadgets and whatever, because it's fun, right? So that's why I felt like his viewpoints I could really get along with, if that makes sense. Hello from New Zealand. Are you yourself allowed to go to the tent whenever you want? Yes, I believe so. Because the last few times I always ask, because it's like, I don't know if Dad has something planned up there or whatever, right? It's his. So I always ask, and like the response is always like, of course, you don't have to ask, right? It's always been the response of like, yeah, that's the vibe I get, but I still ask because it's like he could have something planned up there. It's the respectful thing to do, and like in the wintertime here, it's I feel like a person has to be careful. There's only so much like firewood and stuff like that, so I wouldn't want to go up there 10 times and burn through all of the firewood, and then you know he would go up there and that could be really disappointing. So I always ask. Hasn't ever been an issue. Um, a lot of times it's like, hey, we should both go, but it's hard to get everything to line up. He has his stuff, I have my stuff, and whatever. But I think Dad really actually likes it now that I live where I live because I think we'll be able to go up there and do things together. Like this year, we did like deer stands and we did the whole firewood thing. And I went up there and I split firewood for Grandpa, which I don't make a video of that for you guys, but he had a tree that was dead, so he dropped it in the swamp and whatever. He's like, oh, it was actually a really nice. Oh, what was it? A popple or something? Was it a popple? What was that tree? It's a good tree. It was a good burning tree. It's a hardwood. I can't remember what it was, but anyways, I was up there the one day and I'm like, I'm just gonna go cut up that thing and get it split. So I used this 4-wheeler and I drove it into the swamp and I log after log carried it out on that 4-wheeler and I split it and I made him a whole pile. He probably has enough firewood for that was probably enough firewood to get him through a deer hunting season that I split him. And I didn't show you guys that, but I saved Grandpa a lot of time and effort, and I feel like you know it's the respectful thing to do. I'm up here uh, hanging out at his place or hanging out at the tent, and why not? Right? Like it's just a nice thing to do. So plus it was like I started thinking like, man, Grandpa's gonna be doing all this. These are heavy. Like he shouldn't have to do this. I'll take care of this for him. I'm probably not stronger than him, but I probably have a little more energy. What else we got? I had one try to climb up my tree stand while I was bow hunting. Yeah, see, bears are really curious, and I don't think, especially black bears, I don't think that they're necessarily super aggressive. They're just really curious. So I don't know. It was just the like I said, the lead up to that made the decision really easy. Of like, it just felt right to get the heck out of there. Let's see. Yes, called common courtesy out in the woods. That somebody's knows something dangerous is coming their way or going another way. Yeah, yeah. So fish camp. It's an island, relatively an island. It's linked to land with a wet cattail boggy thing. So it's like bears can swim. Everybody has told me that bears can swim, but I feel pretty protected there. You know, it's quiet most of the time, so it's like I think I would hear movement, whatever. I normally have my protection with me or whatever, and yeah. So bears are bears, and there could be one sniffing your tent, but what can you do? How come you don't bear hunt? Gramps did. I put in for it a few years ago. There's like a lottery thing. I put in for it. I think I actually had my name drawn, but then I didn't have time to actually go hunting for it. So, yeah, they have a lottery system, and so you have to put in for it. I don't know if it's every year or every 3 years or whatever. So maybe one point now might be now it might be easier, I guess, since I'm up here least, I can get there easier. But I don't know. John says, "Do you believe in the right to arm bears?" I don't know what that means. Northwest says, "Do you have room for a garden? If so, what will you plant?" And FFG, have a good night. Enjoy the better weather. Yeah, we have room for a garden on the other side of the house where there's like a second driveway over there. So I parked the trailer and the boat. And that side of the house gets a lot more sun. We're kind of, I don't know, around here there's like high hills, rocky hills, if you will. So like, depending on where the sun comes up, we can be shadowed pretty good. But on that side of the house, the sun hits that side in the evening, and it really hits that side good. And in the morning, it kind of hits there too. And so that's the side I want to do something on. But we're in such a northern zone now, I need to look into it, because it's like I might have to do some sort of like a greenhouse type thing in early season and maybe in later season too, just because our growing season is short. And so it works out fantastic with flowers. This past year, our flowers were amazing because the sun it's not as hot up here, and it rains. It's a more mild climate. I had beautiful green grass. I didn't water it all season, all summer. I had beautiful green grass. It never browned out and died like where we used to live. Like I think it's in August or whatever, brown. Your grass like dies. Nothing like that. It's just beautiful up here, but you kind of want that hot heat sometimes, I guess, for gardens. So I have to research and see what would be best. But yeah, it'll be on that side of the house. I just don't know if we want it kind of up off the ground, in the ground. That I'm not sure about. Brian says, "Black bears are known to have split personalities and can lash out unprovoked." Well, yeah, that's probably true. I'm not a super knowledgeable on black bears, but like I said, I would I don't know. I always have protection with me. That's another thing that I would have to bring on that sled if I went to fish camp. It's another 8 pounds or whatever it would be. So I always have protection just in case. But to be really honest, I'm more worried of some weird individual rolling up into hey CJ. I don't know. I'm just more worried about some weird individual rolling up to my camp at 2 in the morning and pestering me than I am of animals. So let's see. Chings12 says, "Zach, what's the background of your family at the lake? Have you always had family property there?" So the background that I have been told is my great grandfather. Yeah, my great grandfather. That'd be about the right. Yeah, that'd be about the right time frame, I think. Was in the CCC camps, and you guys know the CCC. They did a lot of what do they call that? They did a lot of like natural restorational projects. So he was up in this area doing things. I'm not going to give out too much details, but he was up in the area doing things. And then Gramps, I believe that my grandpa had went to a log cabin building school and was really interested in building a log cabin. So he was looking for land, and in the paper there was a plot of land, so he bought it up. And then he built the cabin, but he actually had, I bet there's videos of that cabin. His like actual log cabin that he used to have. If you guys have watched long enough, you probably know. He built that log cabin at his house and then shipped it. He built it up, deconstructed it, shipped it up there, rebuilt it. That cabin is beautiful. But anyways, then that project, and then Dad built the tent and everything, and then Grandpa's project on the cabin, it was kind of done, so he wanted a new project, and then yeah, so I guess it's kind of history and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I could give out more details, but I don't think it's really appropriate. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. CJ, the party is going. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna really go on here. Does anybody have the Minnesota time? 9:20? Yeah, I'll probably give it 10 more minutes. Oh, what else? Mark says my dad. Oh, hey, Mark. I haven't seen. I don't know if you've been on here the whole time, Mark. I haven't seen you. Sorry if I didn't notice your comments on here. My dad started his plants inside and then transplanted them outside. Yeah, I might have to do something like that too. I just don't know how things are gonna grow. That's last year we got up here in June, so kind of, but we really didn't have time to. Didn't really have time, I guess, to think about a garden with all the other stuff going on. So I don't know if we'll even get a garden this upcoming year with stuff going on, but eventually, with everything, eventually. John says, nice garage door. Thank you. 16 by 7, insulated, that the other people ran into and put a huge crease in it. And then they took the creased panel and they flipped it to the top, but they put all the hinge brackets in wrong. And I had to fix it. And then the door sensors that, are there for safety so that it doesn't crush small children. They put the sensors together and taped it and put it up here in the light thing. And so when I moved in, I had to fix all that. I had to fix all that, and I had to put in the door opener because they didn't have that wired in. And hacks. They were hacks the whole way. Someone said Pantera or AC/DC. I used to be a Pantera guy. Now I'm an AC/DC guy. And I'm going to tell you guys a story now. So, when I worked at my other work, we weren't supposed to have headphones in because, they're super strict about safety. But anyways, I would wear headphones. A lot of people wore headphones. It was the thing to do because when you're head down welding for 8 hours a day and you're listening to this, it's about the most boring thing that you could ever listen to for hours and hours and hours. So you put music in. So I did a study on myself, which is going to sound really stupid, but I did a study on myself about how music makes a person feel. I did it in week blocks. So I did a week block listening to like heavy stuff. Heavy stuff for me. Slipknot, Pantera. I don't really get into the whole Cannibal Corpse. That stuff's not really me. But like heavy, Korn, that type of heavy, okay? It really gets you pumped, right? But it makes you feel really mad. And I noticed, the smallest little thing, you're welding and it pops on you or something stupid and you get mad. Then, so I did that for a week. Got my thoughts on it. Then we went to like classic. We went to country. I did classical music, Beethoven, stuff like that. Then I did just picked every genre, jazz, everything, okay? Number one genre to keep you calm and collected through a day was the Beethoven, classical Beethoven. I wish I could give you more names on stuff, but Beethoven is a good example, like your orchestrated type music. Fantastic, level-headed all day. Then it would be jazz, especially like old school jazz, like ragtime. Would that be jazz? That might be considered jazz. But anyways, John Denver is a good one. So yeah, I did a whole study on myself. Took like 2 months, and it was amazing. I could be listening to music at work, and hours and hours and hours later, when I'm at home, it's like it would still affect a person, right? So there is a super important strand in between that. Um, See you later, Queen Bee. There's an important strand in between there. Now I don't listen to music very much. I listen to documentaries. A lot of documentaries about history. That's my thing. I like history. Um, so every day I have a hour plus drive into work and an hour plus drive home, and I listen to this whole past week. It was the Great Depression, which I've listened to that documentary probably 10 times. Sears and Roebuck, oh, that's my like all-time favorite. There's the Blizzard of '49, that's a good one. There is the Continental Highway. There's so many good documentaries, and I listen to plenty of them. And if I had my phone handy and it wasn't recording me right now, I could pull up my. I got YouTube Red, so I don't listen to ads, and I probably have some ridiculous number on the amount of the hours of videos that I've watched. Because yeah, I went through the whole music study, and then I started doing documentaries, and that was fantastic. The kicker with the documentaries is I try to stay away from super heavy war documentaries. More so the ones that just have a lot of like bomb noises in them or gun noises in them, because like that, for whatever reason, that also is kind of it can really like sway your mood. I think a lot of times in those war ones, they fill the space where they don't have anything to say with goofy noises like that, and it gets old. So yeah, that is my thing. So I guess I did the whole study on myself, and that's what I came up with. So if you have the ability to listen to music, and maybe you only listen to heavy stuff or whatever, try the music study. Let's see. Have a good night, Tom. Let's see. I live in the last little town and work in a place and going to last church duck camp. That's awesome. Yeah. So, does anyone else have any questions? Todd says, "How do you get the same spot for duck season every year? Do you have to reserve them?" You can't reserve them. It's public, and yeah, can't reserve them. We just I mean, I recognize all the people around us too. It's a lot of family units or whatever you come to recognize. The DNR recognizes us. It's, I don't want to say it's our spot because it's not, but it's, I don't know. Maybe people just know, like, oh yeah, they always camp there. That's kind of like how things go sometimes. Like, oh, they always camp there, whatever. But somebody could just show up. But it might be kind of weird because I don't know if that would deter us from being there. So you'd have my uncle and aunt and her brother and kid and my dad and my sister and my grandpa and me all camped out, and you'd be kind of the only oddball. Marty says, "What kind of guitar do you play?" I have a few guitars. The ones I've been playing the most is actually my first guitar ever was a First Act. I bought I think I paid like half and half with my mom, and we bought it at Walmart back when Walmart would sell First Act electric guitars, and ripped it apart forever ago, and that's always been my problem, is I rip it apart and try to make it better. But got rid of that one, and then I actually spray painted it a purple color, and then I had named it the Barney guitar. But that thing's long gone. Anyways, I picked up another one on Marketplace 2-3 years ago just for sentimental value, and it's like one of the best sounding guitars. But then I have a Kramer, like a 82 Kramer. I did a trade deal on it. That's a good one. Floyd Rose, whatever. Seymour Duncans, and then my all-time greatest gem is my Laguna brand, which they don't make them anymore. And they were never anything special, but it's made out of swamp ash, so it's a really warm tone, and it just sounds right. So, of course, I have other guitars too. I have probably too many guitars, but those are the three that I kind of switch out of. But recently, I've just been playing a lot of that first act because it just sounds good for whatever right now. All right, a couple more. New Job is good. I said it in the beginning, but the New Job is really, it's fantastic, and it's kind of weird because everyone there is extremely nice. Management is like, it's like the best crew of people I could have asked for. And I'm so used to management being just jerks, and like the people I work with are at the other companies are great, whatever. But it's really weird to have a management team that's like super nice and friendly and actually helpful, and not just a bunch of stressed out jerks that could care less. And that's really weird to me. And it's really weird to me, to like the point where, like, if I got another job opportunity that paid me like $8 more an hour, it would be hard for me to take it, just because I know that in the workplace, that's how it is. Management is always a bunch of creeps. And at this particular job, it is so nice. They're all extremely nice. So, yeah, work's been really good that way. Super hard learning curve, though. Way out of my realm of what I've been doing, but it's been really a good experience. How long has it been since your grandpa's surgery? Last maybe 2.5 years, because I made him the box stand last year, and his whole goal with his recovery was to be able to climb a ladder stand. And then his first big thing since his surgery was duck camp. Yeah, so it would have been, I don't know. Let's see, duck hunting is in September. So maybe like July or something of a couple of years ago. So yeah, 2.5 years ish. Yeah, he's doing good though. All right, everyone. I'm gonna sign off. It's been really, really nice talking with everybody, and I'll definitely do another one. I might put a little header out so we can get, I don't know, we've had about 200 people. Maybe we'll get 500 people or something on one. Then things get really interesting. But it's been really nice. I hope you all are doing good, and that you have a nice weekend and a nice week and everything. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you in another video.